What is one socially unacceptable fact about yourself? I am really good at relating to everybody and then they say or do something I don't like and I ghost. It doesn't even have to be anything that's serious. I just peace out. Someone said I just don't like people, but I'm sure it's deeper than that. I've always struggled with sweaty hands and feet since I was a small child. In formal settings I enjoy the option of wearing opera gloves. People think I'm being fancy. Nah brah, I'm just hiding that I have to shake 9,000 hands at this event tonight and I don't want to have to keep wiping them on my dress. I have spent unhealthy amounts of time imagining how radically different my life would be if I didn't mess up big time. I don't have any hobbies. I just don't have anything special I do to be entertained or something that makes me super interesting. People just question me what the hell I do all day without anything like that. It's not a good look somehow. I think my family are a bunch of self-involved manipulating assholes, and if they didn't talk to me again, it might make my life easier. I don't talk to anyone other than close relative, not even friends. I am faking everything. Literally. I could not care less about anything. But I fake it all. I will do nothing but sleep and eat all day if I could. I make weird noises when I'm doing things. Like saying, bing bong, or boop, or whatever weird noise word I think of. I'm not sure why, people find it weird, but that's just me and I don't care, it makes me feel better. Maybe it's because I have OCD. I typically do not masturbate for pleasure. I usually do it just to make myself tired enough to fall asleep. I never just have a few beers if I have one. I had 2 kids by the age of 18 in a heavily Mennonite Christian area nicknamed the Bible Belt in southern Canada. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing most of the time. Respectfully. I think being a stay-at-home dad would be great. I hope I can be. I hate kids and am a teacher. I'm a high school teacher and I enjoy teaching teenagers, but can't stand kids under the age of 11. I talk to myself as if people were listening even when I'm alone. I definitely do not know at what point expressing my desire to talk to someone crosses from reaching out in a friendly way into annoying and impinging. And I worry about it. Edit. It is weirdly reassuring to see how many others feel similarly. I feel like I'm constantly analyzing how to interact with people. Every conversation I have feels like a performance and not the real me, like I'm just mimicking other conversations I've read or heard. I can go for weeks without talking to anyone. I have no need to talk. I'd make a great vow of silence monk. I don't want to work. I just want to live in a grassy field and eat fruit. I am a grown man who likes to play with action figures, and yes, I do make the noises to pretend they're fighting. It's my hobby, it relaxes me, and yet I rarely tell people because they look at me like I'm a child. Why should we lose our sense of wonder as we grow? I can never tell if I am a lazy person or depressed. Sometimes I like having fake phone conversations. Sometimes because I just need to talk through a problem or plan something out loud, but my mom isn't picking up the phone. Sometimes for my own entertainment, trying to get people to eavesdrop. I have never been in an emotionally deep and mutually trusting relationship. I want to be, but I've never met someone who felt the same way. I'm very introverted, and one poor relationship experience left me reeling for the better part of a decade. I have fake conversations with people I know in my head that result in me arguing loudly to no one. I daydream way too much. I'm constantly daydreaming. At home, at work, while I'm driving, before I'm sleeping, while I'm eating. I'm always daydreaming. Edit. I was not expecting this to blow up as much as it has. I'm really glad to know that I'm not the only one. I'll try to reply to everyone individually. I'm suicidal. Passively, meaning I'm not making any plans. I'm safe, and this is a constant for me. It feels like I can't tell my friends except in asking for help. I just want this to be something I can tell people because it's so significant in my inner world. Edit. I am getting professional help. I've been in therapy and medicated for a while. Thanks for all your concern. I'm sorry I didn't say that in the original comment. When I'm out in public, I sometimes put my earbuds in just to listen to what other people are saying around me, nothing playing on my end. Edit. Didn't really expect this one to get noticed, and thank you for the award. I'd rather be naked about 80% of the time. Can't stand brushing my teeth. I do it but hate it. Edit. Kinda sad the highest upvoted comment I have is about hating brushing my teeth lol. Please brush your teeth folks, my moms are falling out because of her poor hygiene when she was younger. Long one here. I dumpster dive and find perfectly good fruit at the grocery store. I don't eat them but turn it into cider or distill it to something stronger. When I go to a group event or party I just bring a 10+ gallons of whatever to the party as my contribution to the group. I've given many people at least 200 gallons of alcohol to mix drinks for their wedding or events. All for free. The thing is, I don't drink. Don't drink at all. Edit fixing some confusing wording. Thanks. I don't think this is impressive at all as I think anyone can make alcohol, cider. I would rather sleep than talk to another person like, all the time. I can't do groceries by myself, always have to call a homie to come with me. I can do anything publicly but IDKWTF it is about grocery stores I need someone to hold my hand or else I am dipping without any groceries. I have no ambition to do anything. No dream job or passions either. I'm not depressed by any stretch but I just would be happy and fine if all I did was lay around all day and live off saved money. However, most people are utterly disgusted by that, so I lie and pretend I have a dream job or that I'm passionate about certain things. I honestly only really do any of those things for money or to pass the time. I don't care about any of them. My father was not a very engaged parent, but when school started trying to force me to be right-handed, he went to the school for the first and only time. He told them, the boy is left-handed, let him be, and they did. I have an incredibly hard time talking to people I don't know. I don't go out of my house if it's not extremely necessary. I met my wife at her wedding. Edit. Holy shit, that blew up. Rip my inbox. I posted this just before going to bed last night, sorry to leave you all hanging. I guess it's story time. My ex-wife and I went to one of her co-worker's wedding about 10 years ago. Let's call the friend Sarah. I had never met Sarah before. Over the years we kind of became friends but not particularly close. She'd come over to take care of our son once in a while when I was working nights and my ex had something going on. We went camping with her and her husband a few times. I even went to the movies with her husband once or twice. Sarah and I always got along really well. We had very similar taste in music, very similar sarcastic senses of humor. Well, things started getting really shitty between my wife and I and eventually she left me. Sarah kind of acted like a buffer between us because things were tense and we still had a child to consider. This led to Sarah and I starting to have long conversations about pretty personal stuff. Little did I know her marriage was in trouble too. Her husband, let's call him Dave, had essentially forced her into an open relationship that she didn't want. She'd agreed to try it because she didn't want to give up on it, but by this point she'd had enough. I even called Dave and told him to sort his shit out and stop doing this to Sarah. He did not, and eventually Sarah left him. Through all of this she and I kept talking, almost like a kind of therapy. We were both going through really difficult things and being there for each other really helped get both of us through. My ex, Sarah, and some of my ex's other friends were up at a cottage for a girls' weekend, and on the Saturday night I get a text from Sarah saying she's leaving because my ex had outed her for some very personal stuff in front of the other people there who she didn't even know that well. Her plan was to sleep in her car and drive home in the morning. I was living between the cottage and where she lived and was worried about her, so I told her to come crash at my place for the night, which she did. Nothing happened. After that we started hanging out more frequently and really started to become attracted to each other. Sarah had told me before this that she had feelings for me. I had still been trying to make things work with my ex and had told Sarah that we couldn't because it would devastate her. By the time all this happened I'd started dating a little bit and had given up on working things out. I also wasn't very concerned about how my ex would react anymore because she'd been pretty horrible to both of us for quite a while now. One thing led to another, and one night we just said fuck it. And that was that. We've been together about 5 years now, have a kid and couldn't be happier. I know my comment will get lost because there are so many already. I'm in a codependent relationship and I have no idea what to do about it. I prefer being alone, away from others. Edit. Wow, woke up this morning to all the comments and rewards. Thank you lovely internet strangers for making me feel a little less weird for a day. Y'all are wonderful. I have no real desire to do anything extraordinary with my life. I just want to have my own little corner in the world, and not be bothered by anyone. Or bother anyone. Add-on, wow, this blew up. Thanks guys. When I worked in a human transplant tissue lab, I would talk to the deceased donors to make myself feel better about processing a person who died suddenly hours before. Like, hey Mrs. Bird, how are we feeling today? When she is obviously lying in pieces in a cooler about to be swabbed, irradiated, and transplanted in another human. I hate showering. I do it every day, but I hate it. I'm 34 years old and sleep with my childhood teddy bear, and I refuse to pass it down to my child. I am 46 years old, and whenever I come across a self-opening door, I make a small movement with my hand like I am using the force. I don't even control that consciously anymore, it's automated behavior. I have bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. No matter how much people scream mental health matters on their social media pages, the stigma is very much still there. Edit. I wish I could go through and like every single one of your comments. Just know that I see you, I hear you, I recognize you and your struggles, I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best. Also, please seek help when you feel like you need it. There are so many professionals out there who I promise will listen. It might sound ridiculous, but I was born a left-handed person. It was unacceptable in our family, and I was forced to eat and write with my right hand. Now, I can write with both, but much faster and neater with my right hand. In my dreams, I still write and eat with my left hand. Edit. Additional information. I was born in February 1982, in India. Studied in a Catholic school, a Jesuit school to be precise, so Christian, Italian, beliefs. Yes, I started eating with my left hand again as I use my right hand to wash and wipe my rear. Couldn't wash with my left. Edit 2. Thank you everyone. I think I'm autistic, but I'm not diagnosed. I've been reading a ton of studies on ASD presentation in adults, but I almost feel embarrassed doing so without a diagnosis. I have a voice in my head who I talk to out loud sometimes. Not like my inner thoughts, but it's like they're another person. I know they're not real, but they make me think twice about doing or not doing something. Usually for the better. I'm a hopeless people pleaser. I'm working very hard on that, but I've been abused into being terrified of making anyone upset, so I tend to let people walk on me and push limits until it's really breaking me before I start setting boundaries, and it often results in hurtful situations for everyone involved. I'm working on it though. I would much rather be at home by myself playing video games or reading or sleeping. Almost all the time every day. I pee in the shower and I'm not ashamed. My friends list is shrinking as I am aging. Now I am 42 and got one friend left. Life and kids dictating all my focus and attention. If offered, I would probably indulge in a drug and prostitute-fueled orgy. There is nothing I've encountered inside a fish tank or kitchen sink that I have felt too grossed out by to shove my hand in. Days-old discolored grease congealed at the top of a sink filled with water. I'll reach in and unclog it. A fish filter that hasn't been changed in literal years and is completely full of algae and fish shit. I'll grab it with my bare hands and toss it no problem. The uncontrollable urge to discuss rats during sexual intercourse. It started off as a joke, but now the thoughts are pretty intrusive. I'm a woman and I'm completely disgusted by pregnancy. I don't find it beautiful at all. It creeps me out. I absolutely hate driving. It's hard to find a decent job when there's nothing good around, and the thought of driving further than 10 minutes away makes me want to jump off a bridge. Edit. Glad I'm not the only one who feels this way. Thanks for all the upvotes. That's my first time past 1K. I'm a reasonably attractive, goal-driven woman in my 20s and I have genital herpes. Right before the first pandemic shutdown, I was raped at a concert and got it as a result. I've healed a lot from what happened and have very much come to terms with it, and I accept it's a part of who I am. But yeah, generally the perspective on STDs sucks and people are quick to joke about them. Judge people who have them when in reality these things can happen to just about anyone. Edit. I made this post right before bed last night and woke up to so much kindness from you lovely people. Thank you for the reassurance and encouragement. Appreciation doesn't begin to cover how I feel right now. The anniversary of when everything happened is coming up in a few weeks, so naturally this has been on my mind a bit more. You've all made me feel a lot less alone and have given me a more positive outlook. Thank you so much. I want to constantly pick out stuff from my nose and want to be just generally clean, But sometimes, this instinct kicks off in public and alas, society can't accept such behavior. I internet stalk the shit out of potential crushes to decide if I want to actually pursue a date them. Totally opposite of my fairly chill exterior. I don't like TV anymore. It's all the same shit, and the reality TV is horrible. I read fan fiction constantly. Like, a lot of fan fiction. I don't work out for the results. I work out for the pain. If I'm alone in the car and not stuck in traffic, I'm probably listening to Danger Zone. I've never gotten a traffic ticket and I have no idea how. On occasion, I prefer to drink hot water. All my friends think I am insane. Each time I explain, yes, I still drink cold water. Yes, I still use ice in the summer. But sometimes, I prefer hot water to sip on. They just don't get it. I don't drink. It started as a medical reason even though I'm a relatively healthy, early 30s male. But after a few years I've come to prefer being a non-drinker. But it is a real killer for the social and dating life. I shower once a week. Sometimes I go longer. I also have a hard time getting around to brushing my teeth. I brought it up with my therapist and I'm trying to improve. Every time I have a good streak going, something fucks up and then I fall into weeks without cleaning myself. I don't know what to do. Even worse, I'm completely anosmic. So I can't even smell myself, and often forget that I need to get clean. Sort by controversial to see the actually socially unacceptable facts. I like to give imaginary tours to people from my life when I drive alone. It could be my wife, old friends, cousins, crushes from high school. Doesn't matter who. I pretend like I'm taking them for a drive around the city to make my drive a little less boring. All this is involuntary. Edit. Thanks for the award. I didn't realize my quirk is so popular. And glad that I'm not the only one. I'm a woman and don't think I want kids. I don't care what I look like in public. I dress to be comfortable. All you people admitting to picking your noses, the ones in the cars especially, we know. We see you. I am horrible at both giving and accepting compliments. A girl told me I was cute tonight and I responded with, "Oh, you're kind of cute too." What the fuck? I'm bored of living. Nothing seems to bring me any interest these days. I'm chronically suicidal to the point I'll fantasize about taking my own life with literally any sharp object I see. People say they're here for me but they're not. I'm unappreciated as hell and it just makes it worse. Antidepressants stopped working too. It's hell. Alive against my will. Edit. The comments, the replies to this message were not what I expected from Reddit. Usually this place is so toxic. I've had people message me in the past when I bring this stuff up to tell me to keep it up and to go back to self-harm. I wholeheartedly expected that. But that's not what happened. I saw a bunch of people come together to make a total stranger feel like they should be alive. And you can't possibly know how much it meant to me. I'm going to talk to my doctor. I'm going to find something that works for me. Ketamine trials are looking really promising in my area. As are psilocybin trials. I've got a lot to discuss with my doctor. But really I wanted to say thank you. This is why I stay on Reddit. Because sometimes people aren't toxic trash urchins. Sometimes they're the best people. And that means the world to me. Thank you all. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and liking. Any feedback in the comments would be greatly appreciated so that we can make these videos even better. Thanks for watching Upvote Stories.